All right, MMA Maniacs, it's time once again for your weekly MMA podcast called Split Decision, brought to you from the SinCal Studios. It is Bueller, Dennis, and Pixels. Nick here to represent Dodge, who is in, he's in Hawaii.
We're still sucking, as you can tell. Yeah. We're almost 20 minutes late.
We're 20 minutes late. I have something in my eyeball.
I would say a better looking Dodge.
Yeah.
I would say a better looking Dodge. Absolutely.
I'm just saying it. I'm just glad he doesn't look like a cardboard cutout.
Well, that's just because you're not on the you're not on the strong board. That's the problem. If you're on the strong board, it'd be way different.
He's almost the same height as Dodge on the strong board.
As Dodge, yeah, exactly. So here we are once again on your Friday to break you off some MMA news and of course break down some fight cards. We're going to recap last week. We're going to look forward to what's happening. Actually, tonight Bellator is going down.
Yeah, did we have we had a picture where Dodge is at, right?
Yeah, I believe so. He is.
He's in the Ring of Fire.
Down to the burning ring of fire.
Trying to get his hook back.
Yeah, he's going to return the heart of Tafiti is what he's doing.
Get it, Dodge.
That's his goal.
Get it.
Tufiti. The heart of Tufiti. He's battling Maui right now, and he is learning how to sail.
Battling Maui, man. This is wowie.
This is wowie. I tell you right now, man. You ever look at the back of a dollar bill? You ever look at the back of a dollar bill on weed? Who's in the bush? I don't know. Red team go. Red team go. All right, so jumping into the news, we have a lot of people retiring this week. Kind of crazy, actually, to see how many people are retiring.
About damn time.
You know, I don't understand why I kept seeing like tweets where I was like, "Can you believe so and so retired?" And it shows somebody shooting up with a syringe. So they're like the whole list. They were like trying to say like the whole list of retirees are all people who shot up.
No, I don't. I mean, Pig Rig is retiring because there was an all-you-can-eat buffet around the corner from him.
He shot up with a turkey baster. That's what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? Threw a little bit of garlic juice in him. Something like that.
He's at home and
that sounds like my lunch today.
He's like, they're opening a Golden Corral around the corner from me right now, or I'm going to fight.
Do you ever mainline gravy?
So yes, Johny Hendricks, your former UFC champion, has hung up his gloves and is moving on. What do you think about this?
I'm kind of disappointed. I mean, he had that great fight with Carlos Condit. Mm-hmm. He lost the decision, he won the decision. It just capped off
He was 34 pounds overweight for that fight.
A 6-fight win streak. Then he got that fight with GSP, which was a great fight.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And then
I think that's for me, that's probably one of his best fights is his loss to
the GSP.
Yeah.
It's a great
he came back and knocked out Robbie Lawler, won the welterweight title.
That pissed me off so much.
Yeah.
That pissed me off so
had
much.
Stretch marks ever since.
That's the thing about Johny Hendricks is that like he had this potential to be such an amazing fighter if he just would have stayed within his weight class. The problem was him fighting at 185.
170.
170.
So he never tested hot, but when
he never tested hot. But
USADA came, he went downhill.
He should have been fighting at 185 or 205.
You know, TRT, Johny, and Bellator would do pretty good, I think.
And
TRT, Johny, in anywhere would do well.
I'm not sure if
we put Joey on TRT, he would do well.
Please, can we do that? I can't afford it. So
you can't get it at Costco. How
no,
it's TRT.
It's weird, man. It's weird. They have an HGH aisle, but it's all sold out all the time. Favorite Johny Hendricks moment? We're gonna do this with all the retirees, by the way. So.
The Lawler knockout.
Lawler knockout? Yeah. You?
The GSP loss. Even though he lost, I mean it was a battle.
It was a great fight. My favorite.
When the aliens showed up, that was the best part.
That was the best part for GSP. Yeah, my favorite part of that was the post-fight press conference with the 70%. It was only a 70%. Yeah.
I think like all three of those fights are in the top 50 of all time. Greatest MMA fights.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that.
And there were like 3 in a row he had.
And speaking of retirees, we have one of the Ultimate Fighter alumni, Josh Koscheck, also hanging them up. He hasn't done anything in a while. He's local. He's out down in Fresno right now. Trained at AKA in San Jose, which is right next to us. Has decided that he's no longer going to compete in the UFC. Do you have a favorite Josh Koscheck moment?
Probably the Matt Hughes KO.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's mine.
Oh, nice.
Then,
nice. Very nice.
That's that was at UFC 135.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very nice.
The GSP fight where he just spammed the square button repeatedly, the jab. that one stands out a lot.
You button mashing mother.
But
We have
I
a
mean,
child in
his
the
last
studio,
fight
so I
was
can't
in
cuss.
Bellator, and he's lost his last 6. So I mean, I kind of seen this coming,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
I was hoping for it, maybe.
I get it. Josh Koscheck, when he's one of the fighters I would love to hate over the
Ray
years.
Charles seen this coming. Just saying.
This is true. He's definitely one of the fighters that I love to hate. Dodge and I did a tournament of my most hated fighters, and I think Koscheck actually won it. And it has nothing to do with his personality. Well, no, it does. He's kind of an asshole. But at the same time, he brought a lot of flavor to the sport when he was on The Ultimate Fighter. Him being Bobby Southworth's hype man, essentially, on The Ultimate Fighter is what killed me. Because Big Bobby Southworth was this monster heavyweight on The Ultimate Fighter, and Koscheck, this Fraggle, was always right next to him. Like, yeah, man, yeah. No matter what Bobby Southworth did.
So he was eating radish buildings,
He was.
looking out for gorgs.
He was, man. He was. And I met Josh Koscheck one time out at AKA. They did training day with an autograph session afterwards. And I had, I think, that UFC book, maybe? I don't know. But I had a UFC book with a bunch of the fighters' pictures in there. And when I finally caught up with Koscheck to have him autograph it, he was 2 phones Koscheck. He had a phone in both hands. And he was simultaneously just like, he was texting on both of them. And he was annoyed that I wanted him to sign his picture in the UFC book. So
What do I got, a third hand, Joey?
yeah, you want me to sign it with this? This right here? But yeah, I appreciate what he did for the sport as far as being on that first season of The Ultimate Fighter, because I think the first season of The Ultimate Fighter was super important. But I hated him his entire fight career.
I think if he could have stayed somewhere and took constructive criticism, because he said that he roamed like a nomad because that's just how he rolled. I think he stayed until people were like, Josh, let's work on this. You need to work on that. And then he's like, I'm out of here,
Yeah,
bro.
no criticism.
You think you know better than me? Because that's how I don't know if you've ever been around a Josh. That's how they are.
That's kind of how all Joshes are.
You can't help them.
No.
You can't.
So Josh, but then he went down to Fresno and he opened up his own AKA in Fresno, but he lost the AKA moniker. Now it's Dethrone, I think, down there.
You know, I'm not sure. I haven't seen the billboard. on the 99 yet.
Is that what we're going to bring up the billboard that he
Yeah.
didn't want to
He
have
was
up?
so pissed that billboard was
It's
up.
still up.
Yeah, that's
I'm
one of-
calling my manager right now.
That's one of our old interviews with Koscheck. Anyway, good luck in all your future endeavors, man. And then again, another Ultimate Fighter alumni, Rashad Sugar Evans, has also retired. Any memories of Rashad?
The Shad face. If you don't know what that is, look it up. SHAD.
Yeah.
Lyoto Machado knocked him out.
I was
and
going to say
gave us that
that's
face.
mine. That's mine.
Really?
But,
no, I like it just because I hate Shale so much. Is when he beats Shale.
Ah, okay.
That's my favorite.
No, I'm with you though. When he's like looking at 2 different sides of the
Shad
cage.
face.
Yeah, he's looking at 2 different sides of the cage at the same time.
We fish for fish like that. They're bottom feeders.
It's like a walleye groupie or something like that.
I mean, no, he was good. He won the Ultimate Fighter. He knocked out Liddell, which everyone was at the time. But he had that Rampage fight. The Rampage fight.
Dude, he's coming into humor. You see,
bro,
Yeah,
your
but-
dry delivery is perfect.
The deadpan is still.
dude, I'm almost mad
that-
you're on my computer. I can't even do the rim shot.
It's that Maui stuff.
Sorry.
Dodge sent me some. But no, I mean, they were on the Ultimate Fighter. They hyped it up. I was all excited. I think that was the first pay-per-view I paid for. I ordered, and that fight sucked. First 2 rounds were he just laid on Rampage like a blanket, and then the 3rd round he got Rampage hit him and he wobbled him, and I was like, oh man, it's gonna happen. And then no, he held him down.
No.
and won
Yeah,
the
okay,
decision.
now go back to like how you said you felt like you were pumped up for it, and I mean in reality you knew it wasn't going to be that big of a fight, but you were pumped up for it. Why doesn't the UFC bring back those guys who made those commercials and those bumpers back then? Because they could take shit. And it was like 24 karat gold. You wanted to see it.
Yeah.
You were hyped. You'd be like, well, who is that? I don't know, but
I don't know.
did you see the
Did you see
commercial?
like
Lower the door
when like
down,
he punched
man.
him in the face and it like blew up your TV?
Yeah.
That's what I want. That I
Like
want
when
that
you were a
again.
kid, they said theater near you. You didn't even know what movie it was. Where are we going? Theater near you.
That's
Hear the
it.
voice. He's got the voice.
Yeah.
Sunday.
Never Sunday. It's like Saturday or Friday night. What? It just recently started Sunday morning.
Whatever, man. At like 2 a.m.
So Rashad Evans, I mean, he lost his last 5 fights. So
Right on, T.
Yeah, no, he lost.
Filling in that Dodge thing.
Rashad Evans, oddly
Bring it
enough,
back
was
in.
also in
That was
my
the
tournament of most
trade-off.
hated fighters, and I couldn't stand him because of his dancing, which actually became part of his prestige, became part of his mystique, his persona. And he actually spoke out about his dancing. It was like, no, it's just to keep
Comune
people
non
guessing,
grata.
you know. And you know what? He was fun for the time that he was in the sport.
Modus operandi.
Modus MO. and we wish him well. And in a sea of retirement, we also have the amazing UFC veteran of 12 fights, Felipe Arantes, who is also hanging his gloves up after 12 fights in the UFC.
He ain't gonna be Arante here anymore.
Do you have any favorite memories?
Don't
of
try to Felipe
Arantes?
around on him.
honestly, probably his first win in the UFC was my favorite. It was kind of sad when he lost, but I did like when he won.
Yeah.
And I have no clue who he is. I'm sorry.
His last win in the UFC was my favorite, without a doubt.
That was good. His first win was awesome. I felt bad about his loss.
It was when that Velociraptor came into the cage. That's where his career took
That was such a weird crossover pay-per-view.
Right? I know, right?
Yeah, it was like Jurassic UFC.
Primal Rage.
Primal Rage.
Yeah.
I remember that video game.
That was
When he gave the Loch Ness Monster 350, that's when I was like,
350.
dude.
I tried to tell him too.
Tried to
It's
tell
a
him.
goddamn Loch Ness monster.
How much does it suck if you're like, it's Tuesday and you're like, nobody's making headlines right now? I'm gonna retire. I'm gonna hang them up. And
Me
you get
too.
Like, you get like,
Hashtag pound me too.
and then Rashad and Koscheck and Hendricks are like, yeah, good idea. We're all gonna do that too. Well, shit. I was hoping to get an Under Armour
That's
deal,
it.
but now I'm screwed.
When we leave here today, that's when I'm gonna put the whole Me Too group.
It's like
Retired? Yeah,
the
me
price
too.
is right.
Me too.
When you bid and then the guy next to you, $1, Bob. I can't win.
600, 601. What the fuck,
That's
Daryl?
when you want to punch the guy next to you. Yeah.
Really, Daryl?
Speaking of retirees, we know that Barnett left the UFC recently, but he's not retired from the sport entirely. In fact, Josh Barnett, according to his agent, has 5 offers from different organizations.
Secret agent?
Secret agent, man. Where would you like to see Barnett end up?
In a ring somewhere.
In a ring somewhere is a great. Can we see that?
Yeah.
No.
I wouldn't say octagon.
No.
Because he can't go back to the octagon now.
Oddly enough,
What do we have
that's
left?
the
We
number
have
3 answer.
decagon,
The
a
number 3
ring.
answer.
Yeah.
Where are you most likely going to see him? The decagon.
Decagon.
Yeah.
That's
Square,
Bellator?
I say squared circle.
Circle, yeah.
Squared circle.
Circle.
Ryzen.
Cage.
You think Ryzen?
Is that Bellator?
I'm going Ryzen. I'm picking
Bellator's
Ryzen.
the circle.
Bellator.
Who's the decagon?
I don't know. I'm going
Risen?
squared circle. That's
Okay,
Ryzen.
squared
Risen?
circle.
Is it Risen? Ryzen? I don't
Ryzen.
know. But he's saying that the offers that he's getting from all these other organizations are more than he's been paid in the UFC. Well, his agent is saying this, I should say, speaking on.
The money we're going to make off Josh Barnett is way higher than the money. Because I wasn't getting anything.
I
when
wasn't
he was in
getting
the UFC.
anything back
But now that I've talked him to leave the UFC, we're all going to make some money now.
So, Michael Chiesa, who we all know was a part of the bus attack by Conor McGregor, months ago?
He threw a bus? I thought he threw a hand truck.
Never forget.
No, he threw a bus at a hand truck.
Oh, okay. Because see, that's what I keep hearing, bus attack. I was like,
Yeah.
it was a hand truck attack
No,
on a bus.
No, he threw a bus at a hand truck. It was weird. But
Why
good
did
for
he have
Conor.
a hand truck on a bus?
It was a truckload of hand trucks.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this is just getting heavier and heavier.
It wasn't that heavy. He threw it.
Was this like hand truckception?
It is.
The bus cannot go below 55.
So,
Oh, nice.
so we know Chiesa was on the bus when the hand truck came through the window. He got a bunch of lacerations to his head, hands, and he was out of his fight with, was it Sergio Pettis? Or
Yeah.
Anthony Pettis? I don't remember now.
No, Paul.
It was one of the Pettises.
It was a
It was
Pettis.
Anthony.
It was a
It was
Pettis.
Anthony Pettis.
Yeah.
And now they're getting their fight rescheduled for the upcoming UFC 226. And Chiesa, who has been quiet about the entire scenario, has finally spoken out and has basically just said, "I'm sorry for the small ears in the room, but fuck that guy."
He's going for the money.
He does not like Conor McGregor at all, and
No, he's going to be the one guy that shows up when they're like, so we would just like to sweep this under the table, and we'd like McGregor just to, do whatever. We're going on probation. Chisea's going to go, I lost my fight. My face got cut up.
Well, what he said is,
I want justice.
I found the quote. I really don't got a lot to say to the guy. I lost a title shot. I have proof. I was the highest ranked guy on the card. I would have stepped in to fight Khabib at the drop of a dime after Max Holloway was pulled from the card. I have always loved the fight with Khabib. Bless his heart. He's a cool ass guy, but this is a sport. I've always liked the way I matched up against him, and I got blank out of the opportunity. I don't really have many things to say to Conor McGregor. You work your whole life for those kinds of opportunities. Do I want mine in short order? No. I'd love a training camp, but hey, like I said, if they walked in the door and said, hey, you want to fight for the title in the next 10 minutes? I'm out the door. I'm warming up. I'm ready to go.
He's going to do it.
So Kizia is pissed. No love lost for Conor McGregor. I know they're not in the same weight class, right?
Well, didn't
Kizia's
We don't know. We don't know.
170?
We don't know what weight class Conor's coming back at.
155.
Is he weighing in with a hand truck or not? That's the question.
Yeah.
On a bus or off a bus?
I don't know. This same guy who said he didn't tap or he wasn't out when Kevin Lee.
Oh,
choked him.
Kizia? Oh, geez, yeah.
So,
That's a good
I don't know.
point.
No, we took that in slow mo. He was there. He was there. He was gone.
He checked out.
He gone.
Definitely checked out.
He didn't have Shad face though.
No, that's the problem.
So we talked about Koscheck earlier. Paul Daly, who is the guy who punched Koscheck after the bell. Remember that?
Who we thought set the standard
Yeah.
when if you're inappropriate in a ring, you're removed from a league.
Yeah.
This is cage fighting. We
But-
have morals,
Yeah.
ethics.
Yeah. So now we have a guy that not only slapped somebody in a ring, slapped people on the way to the ring, threw a hand truck at somebody, and yet is still on the pound per pound ranking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you make money. Paul Daly was not making a lot of money for the company.
No.
Had Paul Daly made a lot of money for the company, he would still be in the UFC. But instead, he's in Bellator, and the rumors are that he has signed a new contract, and he got called out by Joe Schilling and accepted Joe Schilling's challenge. However, as of this afternoon, which I didn't have time to grab the news story, according to Ariel Helwani, the contract negotiations are not 100% confirmed, and Paul Daly is still up in the air when it comes to Bellator.
Okay, so the thing about Ariel Helwani, I have learned that with his move to where he went, that he's not going to be getting the information that he used to get from certain people. So he's not going to be the go-to guy.
We actually didn't talk about that last week, did we? He left the MMA hour. Somebody else is taking it over.
Yeah, me and
Thomas.
Dodge decided we're not talking about it because we don't like him.
You don't want to do the Monday Wars?
Don't know.
Is that what he's doing now?
No, it's the war
Monday
between-
Night Wars,
yeah.
WCW.
Oh, dude, yeah. Raw? Yeah. Oh, I remember that. That was awesome. We should totally do that.
I've offered to slap contests, a couple other physical things, and you're like, no.
No, because you're big and I'm not.
We would work it out somehow. 3
I
to
keep
1,
losing
2
weight.
to 1.
Like, you know,
TRT, man.
give me some HGH and I'm all over it.
As long as I get a drop out of the rafters with goth paint and a baseball bat, I'm good.
You know that's how Owen
That's
Wilson.
dangerous. Yeah.
If you drop out with a
terrible.
baseball bat, I can tell you how you're going to leave with that baseball bat.
I did say Owen Wilson. Owen Hart.
He come in, he's like, "Ow, hey,
No, he's like, wow, wow,
wow, I fell from the roof."
wow.
Wow. Oh, God, I'm such an asshole. I was watching that pay-per-view, too.
Sting is still alive, though.
Sting is still alive.
Sting and the Police, right?
Anyway.
Still picturing Owen Wilson trying to tap somebody out.
Wow.
So how you feeling there, man? You good? You good?
You all
Does that
right?
feel okay? I'm not trying to hurt you. We're still friends, right? So Yancy Medeiros was in UFC 226. Was going to be facing Mike Perry.
Has
but
anybody said why? The withdrawal?
why the withdrawal? No, I did not look that deep into the story.
I believe it was injury. I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it was an injury.
Especially the way him and Mike been talking to each other.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I think Mike scared him.
I don't know. I honestly,
It's like he was like, "Did you know Mike was black?"
wait, what?
I didn't know Mike was black either until Tyrone Woodley said, "It's all right. He's a bro. He could call me that."
Wait a second. And who's the guy who's calling out Tyrone Woodley right now?
Isn't it Perry?
No, Covington.
Covington. That's,
Yeah.
So
Oh, he is
so
not.
Perry's
black.
the one.
He is not black.
So anyway,
He's
Paul,
Clorox white.
Paul Felder jumped into UFC 226 to fight up against Mike Perry, and they couldn't be happier to do that.
Oh, Felder. I feel Felder's just going to walk through Perry.
Yeah, I mean, he had his last 2 fights canceled. One because of the bus attack,
Right.
and then
This is frozen. So
this one now. So it's just good that he's getting a fight. I believe it's at 170. Feldner's a 155er. He was already trained, lined up for a fight. So.
No, he was lined up for a fight with James Vick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was supposed to happen.
I'm pretty sure that was at 55 though.
UFC Fight Night 133.
That's weird. That's going to fit in
happen on
later.
July 14th. It fell apart though, and Vic was shifted into a headlining spot against Justin Gaethje, which we'll get to in a minute. And now Felder is going to be fighting Mike Platinum Perry.
Ally Quinta, he's the one that started this whole chain. And-
Raging
It is
Al?
no, it's totally his fault.
Yeah, I think he just wanted more money. I mean, the story hasn't came out, but that's what it seems like the day that tickets go on sale. He's like, no, I'm out.
Like realistically, if Dodge was here, then that Gaethje fight would follow. I'm going to do that.
You want me to just pull it up?
Yeah, my stories are out of order. Like that was dumb on my behalf. I don't even know.
There's a beginning, the middle, and an end.
There's something. Dodge isn't here, and we're.
This is what happens when your voice and your comedy runs a show.
This is exactly what.
So
happens.
we're talking about the fight night, right?
So we were talking about that, and James Vick is now going to replace. No.
Oh, my bad.
Not yet. Almost. No. You're right. But just not yet. All right. So James Vick is going to replace Al Iaquinta.
Just keep swimming.
No, it's good. It's good. As slow as we go, we're still quicker than what the people on the East Coast do.
Yeah.
Exactly. So James Vick replaces Al Iaquinta to meet Justin Gaethje at the UFC Lincoln. It's going to be the headlining match, the headlining bout, and this is going down. It's sometime in July. I don't know. Things aren't working. But what's awesome is that James Vick and Justin Gaethje decided to go ahead and have at each other on Twitter. And
Yeah, now you can put up the Twitter thing.
the exchange is fantastic. From Justin Gaethje, you'll be begging another 2 years for a shot at top 10 while I show you for the bitch-ass point fighter you are. And then everything's frozen. You got James Vick saying, "Calm down, you punch-drunk jackass. Please don't take too many beatings during sparring that you can't make it to the fight." Justin Gaethje says, "Damn, you were supposed to make this fun. You're welcome now. You come tell your friends that you fought in a UFC main event." He says it's even, but it's supposed to be event. Justin Gaethje can't spell for shit. James Vick responds with, "I actually do appreciate you taking the fight, especially when you know it'll be your 3rd knockout loss in a row, and you'll be getting cut. So thanks. Hey, don't worry. You can always go back to regional circuit again and pad your record against tomato cans." Justin Gaethje says, three-fourth main event.
Tom Ado.
3/4 main event. I don't know what that means. Don't bring me down to your level. You get cut after 3 losses. I do not. When you figure out how that works, you'll be better off. James Vick says, "Well, at least we both established that you're getting your 3rd loss in a row." To which Justin Gaethje said, "You're really witty. You're so witty." That's what he says. "You're so witty."
Go look in the mirror.
I just
That was his comeback.
there was no you. Yeah. No you.
Suck it.
You're dumb. No you.
Make like a tree. Get out of here.
Let's make like a banana and leave. What? Moving on from there, we got Vanderlei Silva and Rampage Jackson are going to be facing off for the 4th time. This is going to happen in Bellator. Bellator's got a really big September coming up.
Okay, now, and then something from the inside that I'm hearing about these type of fights that Coker sets up with these guys.
Yeah.
It's purely off how many people show up and what they can sell around them.
Okay.
So like they're not signing a contract for a set amount. They're like Coker's like, well, whatever I can get you guys into this
Really?
fight. That I was trying to read it because it's not like a pay-per-view. So I don't know how they would give them points or
Is it like viewing points maybe?
I don't know. I just want to say, if there's any fighters watching, do not sign a contract like that. We'll pay you later. Just sign it.
No.
and
It's
we'll
not
pay you
like
later.
I mean, I'm sure there's a guaranteed dollar amount, but I mean, basis on what they can sell around them.
Is it like we'll pay you? I'm just throwing this out there. we'll pay you $100,000, but for every viewing point over a 9
Yeah, because that's how they do. That's how they do pay-per-view, right? You get 50 cents on every pay-per-view once we hit $1 million. Then after that, you get $1.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
That makes sense. I don't know if that's what it is. We're just kind of spitballing here, but yeah.
And again, a lot of the stuff when I'm in these forums and stuff, there could be complete bullshit. But like I said, there's other times where I've bounced certain ideas about things that I've seen in these groups, and they come to fruition. So,
well, we'll see what happens with this. This is the 4th time they've met in the cage. You pay attention to pretty much everything that's MMA on TV. What do you think about this being the 4th time these guys have met up?
So the first 2 times Vanderlei won decisively, knockout. The last time Rampage won, so he says he's got 2 more to go. I would like to see it again because they're still. I mean,
God, you want to see this 5 times?
And they can both come into this fight on whatever they want, right?
No, the athletic commission tests them prior to the fight and
Not
right
USADA.
after the fight, but not randomly during.
It's not
training.
USADA, but yeah, they. But that's exactly why I don't even know.
Like with a pool kit or like a real tester.
the Lego
They'd be
pool
like,
kit.
oh, your pH is really high.
But this fight's in California, so California will be testing it.
Oh, okay. So now I'm for sure he'll be tested.
Which one?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. And this is why Lyoto Machida left the UFC because of USADA testing, and he's now with Bellator. Right?
Yeah.
Barnett, same reason Barnett
Yeah,
left
that's
too.
a big deal. I mean, Barnett just got robbed like almost a year of his career.
Yep. No, I'm not a big fan of the way that USADA's working either.
But it has thinned out some weight classes.
It has thinned out some weight classes. And talking about this big September for Bellator, they also have squared off Gegard Mousasi going against Rory McDonald. This is happening on September 29th, which is also when they're kicking off their welterweight Grand Prix. What an amazing fight. That's going to be violent.
It could or it couldn't be. I mean, we never know what Rory McDonald's going to show up. I mean, Gegard, we know. You know what you're going to get from Gegard. He's gonna try to push it as hard as he can, but Rory's got such a weird style. If he decides to just lump up somewhere, it could be a very uneventful fight.
He's going to lump up.
Well, yeah.
He's gonna break his nose again. Like, that's a guarantee, right? He's going to break his nose again.
Well, he's took a lot of time off, but I mean, Gegard, he's 185. He's 170, so the size difference is going to be there.
It's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
And again, they could be on anything that they want that isn't tested for in California.
And then we have the welterweight Grand Prix kicking off. What is not tested for in California?
I would say some things that USADA tests for.
Yeah, testosterone booster pills that you can order online. The ones that say, if this works way too well for you, then cut down to 1 pill a day instead of 2.
Yeah, what's the one that Reckless is always talking? Oh, the drugstore penis pills. Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't test for that.
They don't
That'll get you, man.
That'll get you.
Unless you're John Jones, you know. It happens. So it looks like Douglas Lima, Andre Korshkov, Michael Venom Page, MVP, Paul Daly, and McDonald are your welterweights that might be competing in this tournament. We'll find out more as we get closer. Again, that's September 29th. Jumping into the UFC now, as far as weigh-ins go, they are not going to get rid of the early weigh-ins. They're going to stick with the early weigh-ins.
But Dana said.
But yeah, no, Dana's such a goddamn liar.
Well, he does that again. That's been my point to a lot of people. Dana doesn't swing the weight he used to swing before.
He does not. He absolutely does not. And I think we've seen that. It's very apparent now with WME being in charge of the UFC, with the Fertitta brothers being out of the UFC, and Dana just basically being a mouthpiece at this point.
Yeah, because I had a discussion with him last week that I had thought that maybe Sarah and Dana were still actually picking these fighters for Tough and for the actual Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series, and then it's not.
Nope, it's not.
Really.
I did not know that. Somebody else is coming to Dana with like.
He's right. A lot of it is Shelby and
Mick Maynard. Those are the guys who know, and they have their people, regionally around and
scouts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. Once you get up to the top, you don't want to look at the bottom anymore, do you? Do you? I don't know. Daniel Cormier, John Jones still beefing on Twitter. This will never end. Daniel Cormier has said that John Jones doesn't even matter when it comes to the greatest of all time, the GOATs. John Jones has come out on Twitter and said that no matter what, he's always going to be in the back of Daniel Cormier's mind. Is this ever going to end?
I don't think so. There's nothing in the time that Cormier is going to retire and the time that it looks like they're going to drag out the John Jones thing. The time's never going to line up because they're not going to let John Jones fight until probably 2020.
So Daniel Cormier retires.
Right.
Then John Jones returns. Mm-hmm. Does Daniel Cormier then come out of retirement?
Do you take that fight as
No.
as you
I would say
left?
no.
As you left, you wear your crown. Why do you even take that fight with the possibility of that you lose and give John Jones anything? Because right now, John Jones can say whatever he wants.
Yep.
And no matter what, it'd be like, I beat you. And it's like, yeah, but you were on shit.
Yeah, you never beat me
No, but
clean.
I beat you.
Never
No,
beat me
you.
clean.
Every time you beat me, you got busted. So
according to DC, I think at this point, when a guy has been as inactive as Jones, he ties himself to certain individuals to keep himself he tries to keep himself relevant.
like McGregor.
It's easy to talk trash to me because people always ask me questions. We're getting
And even
on
Nate.
the conference.
Nate's our guy, but unless you fight Nate, shut your mouth too.
Yeah, seriously.
Don't come beat me up though.
We're getting on the conference call with Stipe, and I'm fighting next week, and the first question is about John Jones. So then I answer the question, and he obviously sees my answer to the question, and so that gives him the opportunity to kind of put himself back into relevancy. So DC basically saying that John Jones is using DC to stay relevant in this scenario, in this current timeline, which actually it makes sense to me because what else does John Jones have to stand on aside from DC?
Nothing really.
Nothing.
I mean, because even they try to bring up
A busted ass car and some cocaine.
you
Not
know,
allegedly, those are facts.
Yeah, and then everybody knows Gustafsson beat him. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's how I see it.
I'm not even going to talk about him. He's not fighting, so
He's not worth it to you?
Yeah, honestly.
No, we do need.
Look at that proverbial high road over there.
Hey, like that. We do need the guys.
That's why he's only here like once a month, people. He can't be mean if he tries.
Like we haven't had any follow up on the whole Nick Diaz scandal, have we?
Which
Peanut
one?
Gallery is like, no, he's a mean ass dude.
Him getting arrested for domestic violence.
Screams at us, beats us
okay.
with whips.
Yeah, he got released. I've heard stuff, but
Hit
I don't
me
know
with
how
the
much
taser
is true,
once.
so
What I was gonna the only
didn't
reason I
make
bring
my
that up is
bed.
because I'm like these guys who are still considered UFC fighters but don't fight, like Nate Diaz, like you said, Nick Diaz, John Jones.
No, Nate Diaz is fighting. It's just in parking lots at, regional
that's
events.
right. I forgot about that. That was at the Fight to Win up in Sacramento, wasn't it?
No, and two more fights. Two more regional events. He's started ruckus.
Where's the Snapchat video of this?
Snapchat?
The Snapchat. I want my Snapchat video, man.
It's out there.
Is it out there?
There's like 2 or 3 angles you could
Really?
possibly see him throw a punch.
man.
Maybe I don't know.
Does he have any kids? Because it'd be cool to see him fight.
He just Nate Diaz just had a daughter.
Oh.
None of it's
Which
confirmable.
means never bet on him again to win.
I want to see
ever.
like little league dad fighting going on.
Yeah, no. Once you have a
Guys just
kid-
ripped their shirt off.
What?
Like, here's the thing: if you get into the sport and you already have kids and you're fighting for your kids, like Houston Alexander, that guy was killing people in the beginning because he's like, I'm single dad, and he was like, I'm fighting for my kids, and he was knocking people out left and right. Like he was making some money. That's awesome. But then you have guys, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. Well, I mean, you say Conor McGregor, they have a kid that is like they never fight again, or they get the asses kicked all the time.
Oh no, Conor McGregor's gonna fight again. I mean, if like Abdul Abdelaziz is right, he says Conor's running out of money. That's why he's trying to get this fight done before 2018.
Really?
Yeah.
So back to what Dana said. He said this fight is nowhere near close to being done. So within the next week, they might announce it.
This guy knows how it's done. He knows how it's done.
That was kind of a mean thing to say.
Moving on from
Dana,
there.
don't write me back.
Quick recap of the fights that happened last week. We did have UFC Fight Night. This happened in Singapore.
Sad,
You had,
sad morning.
Cowboy versus Edwards was your main event. Going down real quick, we had Ji Yeon Kim got a win over Melinda Fabian with a split decision. Ulka Sasaki over Janelle Lusa with a rear naked choke in the second round. You also had Matt Schnell beat Naoki Inoue with a split decision. Then you had Yan Zhon beat Vivian Pereira with a unanimous decision. Jake Matthews over Shin Sho Azai with a rear naked choke in the first round. And then Song Keenan over Hector Aldana with a TKO. Shane Young over Rolando Dai with a TKO. Song Yodong. Yeah, that's it. That's a Yadong. Yadong over Felipe Arantes with a TKO. And Peter Yan over Teruto Ishihara with a TKO.
And that was your last finish for the night. Wait. There's one more submission.
There's one more submission, yeah. Jumping on your main card. This is all on Fight Pass, by the way. If you didn't watch it, don't feel guilty because first off, it was on at 2 a.m. and only on Fight Pass.
Yeah, but see, this was good because this made you feel better for being a Fight Pass subscriber.
Because, I mean, it was a good card all around, honestly. Yeah. You had Li Jingliang kick off your main event, get a win, unanimous decision win over Daichi Abe.
My Jingliang.
And then Jessica I got a decision win over Jessica Rose Clark.
And yes, she needs to fight Ashley Evans Smith.
Think so?
Jessica I.
What do you think?
Ashley Evans Smith.
Next fight?
Why not?
Why not? OSP got his submission straight armbar over Tyson Pedro, and sadly,
no St. Preux choke.
No St. Preux choke. Damn. Our boy Donald Cerrone lost unanimous decision up against Leon Edwards.
It was a battle.
What do you think about that fight, man? Tell us about it. I didn't see it.
I just I don't know. I don't know what
they said that enough?
No. Well, they said that he was possibly going to pull out of the fight hours before the fight.
Cerrone?
Yeah.
Really?
So I don't know if physically he just wasn't there, mentally he wasn't there. I mean, what do you got on it?
So I got up early and I went back to bed pretty early. No, I mean the fight was kind of boring though. Honestly, it was like they were just shadow boxing almost, just dancing back and forth. Yeah. I did hear that story, but I mean. Everyone has an injury after they lose. You know, I didn't want to say anything. That's not me.
Well, Pigrig was the big guy who was like, oh, my left arm was 70%, and I was only 65% in my right hand.
Man. I think it was jet lag. I'm blaming jet lag.
I mean, he puts himself in that situation. He's a tough guy, but he shouldn't be traveling across the world fighting, young stars. And
I agree with that. I don't think he should either. I don't think they should take those huge trips.
And don't say stuff like you're going to feel bad when this old man beats your ass and then you lose.
Got to back that up, man.
Well, that's the excuse before. So, like, if I lose, it's because I'm old.
It's perfect. You're setting it up.
Yeah.
Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series also had another event this week, and Valentina Shevchenko's sister was able to jump in there and put on a clinic against Jamie Nivera and get a huge win with some knees.
You got that picture?
That ended up getting her a contract with the UFC.
Shevchenko sisters.
And this is the first time that we have sisters in the UFC. We've had relatives before, obviously the Diaz brothers. The
Looks
Miller
like they're at
brothers.
Woodward Reservoir.
It does.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who else?
No deal.
Yeah. The Diaz brothers, the Miller brothers.
Pettis and Sergio.
Pettis brothers.
Machida did.
I don't believe his brother fought. The Nagaro brothers, though.
The Nagaro brothers.
Yeah, the Nagaro brothers. Jesus, how did I forget that one? The Nagaro brothers. We've had at least 5 sets of brothers, and we have our first set of sisters in the UFC because of Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series.
The 4 horsewomen are sisters.
BoJack Horseman? Wait, what?
But the Contender Series, there's been it's 3 weeks, 15 fights. There's been 14 finishes so far.
Is that right?
If you haven't been watching it, you should.
But
friend of the show, Angel Deanda, was supposed to be on Tuesday night, but he wasn't there.
We still don't have any specifics on it, other than we heard that he was on standby, and then that's the whole reason.
He actually went. He went.
No, he was there. Yeah.
And then they brought in the other guy who won by spinning back fist and got put on Tough. He wasn't very excited for that, but it's the final season of Tough. It's the heavyweights coming up.
Oh, really?
Is that it?
Yeah.
And we're done?
Yep, and then we're free. No more Tough.
No more Tough.
Contender Series is probably going to take over, though. That's been the rumors.
Well, especially since they've opened up how many fights are on the Contender Series. Remember before we were lucky to get 2 fights, and now we're getting, 5 fights a night?
Yeah, 5 fights. They made it longer, and this week is off week.
Everybody likes that.
And then they're doing a special Brazilian show. They're going to...
Brazilian and longer?
They're going to record it in 3 days, but then they're going to space it out. So I don't know how many weeks.
How many is a Brazilian?
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
No, you got to see. That's where you can't get sidetracked. You got to keep doing the news while we bullshit. That's the deal. You can't get caught in our stupidity banter.
Dodge just acts like they're not.
Yeah.
He really does. He just steamrolls through everything. Like, are you 2 idiots done yet? I'm gonna keep moving on. Tay Edwards got a win over Austin Tweedy with a 28-second KO in round 1. Josh Parisian also beats Greg Ribello with TKO at 131.
Ribello retired after this one as well. He hung it up. Another retirement.
You should not retire on a Contender Series show.
Because you'll get mentioned on Split Decision. That's your big announcement,
You
Greg.
should just go back to washing dishes at Ridgeway's and never talk about it again.
No, he was like CES champion. It's a promotion on the East Coast.
Is that right?
Yeah,
All right.
he had a pretty good career.
Juliana Rosa got a win over Jamal Emmers with
Juicy J.
110 KO in round 2. Then you got Jordan Williams get a win over Tim Caron at 337 of round number 3 as well. And I think we had one more fight, or am I crazy here? No,
Jason
that was
Williams is out of Team Alpha Male. So
is that right?
Yeah, they made a big story about it, but he's got type 1 diabetes. He's the only fighter with diabetes. He doesn't cut any weight at all.
I would come in coated in chocolate cake if I had to fight him. That's
That's his kryptonite.
yeah, I would rub myself down.
Get some OJ.
Yeah, just put.
He's all got powdered sugar around his mouth. I'm rabid. You don't want none of this, brother.
Does anybody have any orange slices? Then we also have the Ultimate Fighter season 27.
Look. Anybody on the diabetes thing who's going to email us, just send it straight to Joey.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't have time to go through the split decision email about.
Please, and I will send you a Hershey bar.
I know Wilford Brimley. Me and Wilford Brimley are good, so
Got the beatus.
yeah. So it's not me. Just send them straight to Joey.
For everyone who sends me an
That's
email
assbag@gmail.com.
gmail.com. I will gladly send you a chocolate cake.
Yeah.
Totally fine. The Ultimate Fighter season 27. Apparently, we are on episode 11, which we haven't talked about at all
We haven't talked about it.
in the last couple of weeks. But you got a recap for us? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Pixels.
This week was the coaches challenge. They did a hockey shootout on the ice.
No way.
Yeah, so one of them was the goalie as the other one shot it. Cormier could not stand up. Like every time he shot the puck, he kept falling.
Really?
Yeah. They ended
Wait,
up.
this is the season with Stipe and
Daniel.
Cormier? Jesus.
It's
All right.
not even fair because Stipe grew up on the East Coast. He's
Oh,
used
yeah.
to walking on ice. Cormier's from San Jose. The only ice they got is in margaritas.
Well,
Come on.
Cormier actually won. He got
What?
He got
Shut
the
up.
10,000.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, it was close. It was 4-3. He pulled it out. Cormier got the 10K, and then of course
Oh, no, that's the coach's curse.
Oh, is it?
Oh, that's the coach's curse. He won. That means he loses up against Stipe.
Oh, no.
right.
Vix is in.
Fixes in.
But
Coach's curse.
he actually matched the 1,500 that UFC gave every fighter, so they got 3K.
Oh, Cormier did himself?
Yeah, he did.
His wife is pissed.
So the actual
You
fight
did-
though this
you
week
did
was
what? You
Joe
did what?
Giannetti defeats Alan Zugana by anaconda choke round 1.
Nice.
And that sets up Joe Giannetti versus Mike Trezano for the finale on July 6th.
What is up with all these Italians fighting each other, man?
Hey man,
We're all
rising
supposed to
the
get
top.
along, fellas.
Hey, forget about it.
Forget
But,
about
next
it.
week, Tyler Diamond from Team Alpha Male fights Jay Cuccinelli.
Jesus, what is going on here?
But the winner fights Brad Kyoto, the
And
guy from SBG.
you said your money's on Cutinelli? Or are you coming now to Diamond side?
all these damn Italians fight each other on the East Coast. What's going on?
Huh? You coming,
Fugazi.
coming to
Knock
Diamond
it
side?
off.
No,
No.
sorry.
The problem here is that they're all going to show up and they're going to come with their, the crew and be like, look, man, you beat me. That's fine. You're going to look good in front of your friends and family, but
I didn't know they were going to send Christopher Walken.
Yeah, this is like
Yeah.
you see,
it's like this is like Bubba walking.
Yeah,
If you're going to win, I need more cowbell.
you see these guys outside of the cage, right? Well, if you beat me, these guys are going to come pay you a little visit.
Yeah, because if I don't have money, they don't have
It's
money.
like in between Joe Pesci and Christopher Walken.
I'm not trying to do
Oh.
any kind of impression here,
Really?
man.
Like a clown? Like a clown?
Are you saying that because I'm short? Jerk. Oh man, I accidentally closed the Bellator.
Oh.
Did you?
That
All right,
sucks.
we'll give you time to open up the Bellator thing.
Bellator- no,
What
it's
is
Bellator.
happening right now? I think the fight started at 3.
Bellator 201, so I can get that real quick.
Did they start it at 3?
201. I'm not sure.
I don't know. At
LFA
this point-
44 is going on this week as well today.
LFA 44?
Yeah,
Well, tell us about that while I look this
Christian
shit up.
Aguilera is taking on Matthew Francoux. I interviewed Christian. You could check it out on my YouTube channel, MMA Pixels. But it's
Is
the
there
main
is there
event.
like a
There'll be a
glimpse of
link.
it?
There's a link on this podcast. Wherever this podcast is broadcast, there will be a link to MMA Pixels.
But LFA is pretty top organization. A lot of the guys that are going to the contender series are getting signed directly to UFC is from LFA. So
Is that right?
Are they the biggest feeder into
I would say
UFC?
right now, yeah,
LFA?
LFA. I mean, if
Wasn't,
you wanna
Titan,
count
wasn't
Invicta,
Titan?
then
Wasn't Titan sending a lot of fighters?
they were. They haven't been very active. I haven't seen any fights in the last 2-3 months for them.
Is that right?
Yeah, they were going pretty hard, but I haven't seen.
Yeah, like the UFC is a huge feeder league into Bellator.
So actually, that's not a false statement.
No,
at
it's
this point in
not.
time.
That's what I'm saying.
It's hilarious. And going down right now, as we were saying, happening at Temecula, California, down in Southern California.
It's Temecula.
Temecula? Temecula.
Temecula.
It'll cost you $5.
$5, that's it.
That's it. Bellator 201. You have Juan Archuleta taking on Robbie Peralta. You also have Valerie Letourneau, who used to be in the UFC,
We have a graphic for that?
going up against Christina Williams.
Is it that one? Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
There we go.
Sad Awad taking on Randy's son, Ryan Couture.
It's usually found in a urinal.
Dude, Sad Awad.
Sad wad.
Man, I'm sorry, dude. And then you have Yima Leigh McFarland taking on Alejandra Lara. Yima Leigh McFarland is the current champion in the flyweight division over there at the Bellator. And apparently nobody's thinking that Lara has a chance in this fight. What do you think?
Oh, I think she'll win.
You think Lara's going to win?
Yeah.
All
I
right.
believe every woman with 2 hands has a chance.
He says that because his wife's in the lobby watching us through a window right now.
So all of you one-handed women, apparently, according to Pixels.
Oh.
Yeah, all
just
you
because
one-handed women.
Just because you lose a hand, you can't fight? Is that what she said?
Oh.
Here's to swimming with one-handed women. Isn't that the saying? It's not the saying. It's not how
No,
that goes
I
at
like
all.
to go swimming with bow-legged women and swim
No.
between their legs.
Woo! And we also have PFL took a week off this week, so there was no PFL yesterday, but they do have PFL number 3 coming up next week, which is going to have your main card featuring John Howard going up against Ghassan Umalatov. You also have Shamil Gamzatov taking on Eddie Gordon. Rick Story, the horror story, going up against Yuri Villafort. I didn't know Rick Story was in
His
here.
middle name should be Maltov, like the cocktail. Maltov Oganov.
What?
Never mind.
That's like, what?
I give it a laugh.
It's got to be in Russian.
Then you have
Laugh, my friend. Laugh.
Abubakar Nurmagomedov. Look, dude, it's Abubakar Nurmagomedov.
Everybody's putting Nurmagomedov in their last name.
Why
now.
wouldn't you?
You got Shapirov
Right.
Nurmagomedov.
It's a hot thing.
It's a hot thing.
It's the new hotness. Going up against Pavel Kush. And then you have Jake Shields, our
You're
boy.
just making up these names now, or what?
Dude, it is Abubakar Nurmagomedov. It's real.
Against some type of weed.
It's missing 2 letters of the
Pavel
alphabet.
Kush.
That's
Pavel
it.
Kush he's gonna be fighting a bong.
How many rounds?
How many rounds? It just depends, man.
30 seconds.
If he doesn't carve it, it could be over early.
Jake Shields takes on Ray Cooper III in your main event for PFL. That's happening next Thursday on NBCSN.
That's what I'm gonna go to a dispensary and tell him you need to change that strain to Chuck Liddell.
The Chuck Liddell stream.
Yeah.
The Diaz strain.
It'll knock you out.
You'll get knocked out.
Yeah. Someone's getting knocked
Someone's
out.
getting knocked out. Either you're going to knock out this entire bowl, or the bull's going to knock you out. One way or another,
Yeah.
it's going down. Big thanks for listening. Obviously, you can tune in every week. We do this every Friday. We're running super late today. We apologize for that, but we appreciate you tuning in. Big thanks to MMA Pixels.
I don't feel bad for our fans. I feel bad for the people in the lobby that had to wait for us.
Yeah, dude. That's,
Sorry.
I just
So
feel
sorry.
bad in general. I got to log out of my Gmail, see if I can go through and find my porn. It's you.
You're in my Gmail.
I'm in your Gmail. I'm not doing that. You can check us out on our Twitter and Instagram, SD_MMA.
Did you look up porn on my computer?
Weren't you paying attention?
That's that excuse before the fight.
Yeah.
You just laid one right there.
You didn't see that giant dick?
No,
Never
no.
mind.
I'm just saying.
Joey had it.
You
It
heard
wasn't
him
me.
here, Marka. He was looking at stuff on the computer. It was a pop-up.
It was a pop-up.
It was not on Plenty of Fish or Tinder. Anyway, thanks for listening. SD_MMA on Twitter and Instagram. MMA Pixels at MMA Pixels on Instagram. And are you
Yeah.
on Twitter?
Yeah, MMA Pixels on everything. I interviewed some guys from Modesto Power, shot some footage. It should be coming out this weekend. Check it out for 209 Beatdown 5.
It'll all be linked. We'll be putting it out on our stuff too.
It's all going to show up. And of course, check out our sponsors, Dependable Solutions. Innovate your business. If you take credit cards online and you want to save some money, they can save you up to 60%. Dependable Solutions. If you don't take credit cards, you're losing money. You should definitely hit them up, and they can definitely save you a lot more than the other people. And Strongboard Balance. Change the way you work out. Get on board. StrongboardBalance.com. And Split Decision MMA Podcast on Facebook. SplitDecisionMMA.com. And anywhere podcasts or broadcasts. It is Bueller, Dennis, and Nick saying have a good night. We'll see you at the fights.
We love you, Dodge.